Welcome to Civilization Design for Mars. This episode we look critically at the topic of reproduction on Mars. I'm designing a legal and ethical framework for a civilization on our alternate planet as we become multiplanetary. This channel documents controversial and notable topics encountered along the way. All policies discussed are intended for Mars, not Earth. Today, an introduction to reproduction on Mars. We populate Earth through human reproduction. Would Earth-style human reproduction work on Mars? How could changing reproduction impact Mars civilization design? How would earthlings treat Martian humans? We look at these and other issues in this introduction to reproduction on Mars. The question of reproduction. Once infrastructure on Mars has reached a phase where its atmosphere, structures, and systems are stable enough to support expert working humans like astronauts, we can consider inviting non-expert immigrants from Earth to trial living there. These are humans who intend to leave Earth and settle on Mars the way we live in our homes on Earth. But they are no longer part of the expert workforce that has built Mars until that point. Once non-expert immigrants from Earth are able to live on Mars, only then will the practice of reproduction even become an option. Actually, a practice relating to reproduction will arise sooner on Mars, but in a negative sense. Similar to the rules of construction sites, for example, on Earth, human reproduction would be explicitly not allowed on Mars until the point of stability is deemed to have been reached. Can we reproduce on Mars? Until now, we've only grown people inside human bodies on Earth, within Earth gravity. Mars has low gravity relative to Earth. This may mean that in order to grow humans successfully on Mars, insemination and gestation would need to occur within a relatively high gravity environment similar to Earth. Creating this environment is possible within a rotating structure just off the planet with enough centrifugal force to simulate higher gravity. If we continue the practice of using women's bodies to grow new humans on Mars, this could mean sending women to a higher gravity tube for 9 months or slightly longer. We do have time to consider other methods of reproduction. Mars, not Earth. Earth has complex and deep-running social conventions and systems for reproduction, which have their pros and cons. However, they are relatively stable if ethically questionable, and they're unlikely to change radically based on policy recommendation alone. The following ideas are intended for an alternate planet. The introduction of these ideas on Earth could actually be counterproductive to a harmonious society, potentially causing harm to a number of people. Mars, however, will be a civilization based on a new balance between humans and technology. Once established on Mars and functioning, there is a possibility that the demonstration of the practice of these ideas may eventually influence Earth. However, these ideas are not intended for Earth first. External artificial wombs. The science of creating life within an external womb is challenging, however it is achievable. It is believed to be possible, but not legal or ethical on Earth, to create humans in this way. With further work, the question will not be, can we create humans on Mars, but rather, should we create humans on Mars? The more complex questions around this technology on Mars relate to whether we want to create and grow new humans on Mars. Can we provide a stable society which enables these humans to thrive physically, socially, and psychologically? i.e., can we relate to them and they to us, and can we learn to live well together as a society there? Nuclear and communal living. The infrastructure we design and build on Mars is normative and will encourage particular family formations. If we build individual homes and assume sexual reproduction between heterosexual, monogamous couples, we could recreate Earth's nuclear family, expecting and planning for 2 heterosexual parents and 2 children in one household. If we design and build different infrastructure for reproduction, we may find other structures form. For example, if we're using external wombs to grow children, we might find that we live differently too. The challenges and opportunities of life on Mars could see us living communally, as villages of people who live and work together, with breeders, those people providing genetic material to grow new people, but with villages caring more collectively for the young and old, actually. For us as a species, we need to look at what this change would mean for us as children, people, carers and guardians on an ethical, legal and societal level. Breeders and non-breeders. Using wombs external to our bodies may also bring a shift in personal identity, moving away from the male and female identities so important on Earth. The difference between male and female may become defunct, and a differentiation between breeders and non-breeders may be more important on Mars. For example, breeders could be anyone giving their genetic information to create a child. However, if reproduction within external wombs provides us with a predictable and reliable supply of the next generation of humans, we may not even place that much importance on whether someone is a breeder or not. If growing new humans is deemed an important part of society on Mars, it is likely that all adults in a given settlement will have some duty of care towards others there, young and old. Martians and earthlings. Attempting to foresee and understand the psychological situation into which we are putting the very first newborns on Mars will be an important consideration. We have time now to consider what it will mean, or whether it will mean anything, to these new humans to be the first ever humans not to have a physical connection with Earth, and not to have been socialised on Earth. It may be that they can handle it just fine. However, the earthlings on Mars and on Earth may well see the human Martians as different and treat them as such, perhaps simply even just by constantly asking whether they feel different and interrupting them in the midst of living life as they would. An important consideration at all times on Mars will be this: how humans, systems and behaviours support all Mars citizens to act socially, psychologically and physically responsibly towards themselves and others. In this case, especially the firstborn human Martians, so that they have the best possible chance to thrive there and form a stable society. Next time we ask, should we go to Mars? That's all for this episode. Please subscribe, share your thoughts in the comments, and thanks for watching Civilization Design for Mars.